So over the last wee while, when I say wee while, I'd say about 3 months now, 2 to 3 months now, I've been using the Gloxy Power Blade, which is an LED light, which has a lot of LED lights, and it's also got an orange bit that goes inside it to make it so it's not just totally white, but it can be nice and orange, like you see there. And this is what it looks like. So in terms of length, it goes from about my head to the middle of my chest. And it's got a big chunky battery in this. Now, what I would say is that in the information here, it says it's up to 10 hours of continuous lighting. I would say possibly not exactly 10 hours, or potentially 10 hours on the lowest setting possible. But if you're using it on its full power, this big chunky battery, and I'll show you the comparison of chunkiness. This is what we get in the Gloxy. A Nikon D800, that's a D800 battery, that's the Gloxy. So you got a big chunky battery for working all these LED lights. So it says 10 hours, I would say you're more likely, if you have it on full power, maybe an hour at the most. Or at least you'll definitely want to recharge it. And what happens is that it fades as well. So it doesn't just quit. It gets weaker and weaker and weaker, and then then it dies. So what you need is to have it fully charged up each time after a day's worth of shooting. Now, I've found this very useful because 2 reasons. One, I don't need any wires. I can go and put this into any other room. I use this for property photography. So I will put this in a room next door, turn it on, have it bouncing off one of the walls in there, and that gives a good amount of light. It's not a huge amount of light, especially if you're shooting in another room or compared to a flash. However, it's just so nice, light and easy and portable and doesn't need any electrical wires. That's why a lot of times I don't use stuff like bringing around a 400 watt light, because you need to have all the cables and you need to have plugs and all that kind of stuff, which can be a nightmare. And a lot of times I can go into properties which have no electricity, or the electricity has run out, or it's one of the where you need to pay every 10 minutes on it kind of stuff. So that I can't use. So that's where this is very handy. So if you are a professional property architectural photographer, I would say this is very good. So I use this professionally, creatively. If you want to use this is pretty damn cool. If you want to like swing it around in the park, because again, it's nice and light. It's nothing heavy. You can hold it with 2 fingers. You can throw it around, and it's solid. It's weighted obviously heavier at the end here, and it does have a little vent up at the top for heat to escape. However, all it does is make me fear if there's maybe a tiny bit of rain or something, it could maybe get through there and go into the electrical parts down there. However, that's not actually been a problem which I've noticed so far. So what I do is I normally just walk around with it that way. It's also got a thread there, so if you're wanting to stick it onto a tripod with a simple tripod mount, I don't have, well, I do, but my microphone is holding that. You can easily mount this, so you can have it just off camera kind of stuff as well. So it's very, very handy, and you can really just stick it anywhere. What I would say, there's now a couple of things I would say that could make this better. One, if I had a flat bottom, instead of this slightly curved edge here, and also instead of it being totally circular, maybe if it's like hexagonal or square or something, just so then I could place it at angles in certain places. Because a lot of times if I like put it on the edge of a desk, it will just roll off. So yeah, if that was flat, I could have it just sitting flat on desks like that without having to lean it against something. Same with at the top as well. This is all slightly got a little bump to it there as well. So yeah, if they could just make that angular and flat, then that'd be handy for being able to place it into certain other places. And if the battery could be made to go for a little bit longer as well. And sometimes the turning on and turning off just takes a little bit too long. And the other thing I would say is that there's no flicker with this, because it's using a DC current from the battery. If you're shooting video and you're suddenly going to like a frame rate which is, not frame rate, but a shutter speed which is not in PAL settings, 50 or 100th of a second, but you go to like 60 or an 80th, which normally in a place like this you would get this weird banding and strobing going on. With this, you don't get that. So this is a good continuous light. Even though it's continuous light, if I was using one of these, because it's plugged into the mains, you get the flicker effect from this, or the like lines of darkness going up and down the screen, because it's out of sync with the shutter speed that you get with the camera. Or yeah, you know what I mean. So that's where this is handy. Price-wise, you can see them, they're around about up to £120. There is like a super expensive version from another company which I think they're about £500. So yeah, there's this one which you can get for a little bit over 100, or you can get a really expensive one which is exactly the same for about 5 times the price. So that's up to you. So I'll put the link to this if you wanted to get this down below. But in terms of professional work, I would say I'm more than happy to use this. It's light, it's easy to put in the rucksack, wherever the rucksack is. So it's not like, oh, I'm having to carry this thing around. It just fits in the rucksack, or I can just swing it around. And also, the amount of times that I go out to properties and people are like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, it's a lightsaber. Like, no way, that's so cool. It impresses clients. Not just clients, but also, well, yeah, clients of both landlords and agents. They're like, oh, that's cool, that's interesting, what does it do? And you have to tell them. And it's because it doesn't get hot, you can have it near pets and plants, and you're not going to burn anything like that. So it's a good little safety. Again, if I was using the 400 watt thing here, this gets super duper hot. You can smell the kind of dust burning off of it. If you put it in somebody's house, you're using up a lot of their electricity. And this is a very orange light. Meanwhile, this is a nice clean light. So yeah, many benefits with powerful LED lights on this, which has 298 LED lights, which are colored to the 5600 Kelvin, or with the orange sheath you can put on it, that takes it down to 3200. So that kind of goes with the lighting that you get in here. So yeah, that's the Gloxy Power Blade. I've been using for the last wee while, and I would say I've been very happy with it, and well worth the money for both professional work, but I haven't been creative enough really to use it for like funky pictures at night time of light painting. However, this would be very good for that sort of stuff. So in fact, if any of you have done any amazing light painting stuff with this, send me a link down below. I'd be keen to see it. Cheers, bye-bye. One last thing is that if you are on my photography channel, you may not know that I've got 2 other channels. One is my exercise channel, which you can check out, which is Dom Bauer Exercise. I think the actual name is just youtube.com/Dom Bauer. And I've also got another one on this channel, so I've got Dom's Talks. And a lot of that is going to be about, well, me dealing with my first ever newborn baby, little Logan Bauer, born on the 4th of September, and so I'm learning to be a dad. So it's all my mistakes and all the things which I'm learning which are quite useful. So if you want to see more about little Logan and how he's getting on, check out Dom's Talks. And if you want to see, oh, I've also got Dom's Flights as well. So again, I'm doing a lot of stuff flying my DJI Phantom around the places, and also going through the process of getting the license to do it commercially. So if you want to see how I'm doing that, check out the Dom's Flights channel as well, which I put all the links to down below. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.